Hey everyone, my name is Tonya Parham. I'm the founder of Like It Marketing and also the host of this show, Like Being Social. Each month, I like to interview a business owner so they can share a little bit more about their expertise as an entrepreneur, as well as teach you a little bit about them. We're on episode 11, and I really can't wait to introduce you to our guest. We have Miss Teressa Addington here, and she is the founder of a staging and a redesign agency. It's called Masterful Interiors. Teressa, thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I don't want to give the bio on you. I'd rather you kind of introduce yourself. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you got started?
Okay, well, my company does home staging and redesign, and there's lots of services inside of that just have to do with just designing fashion forward interior spaces. I got my start taking a certification course, learning all the ins and outs of staging and redesign so I could understand the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect segue or pivot for me midlife because I've always loved art and design. I studied fashion design in college, and I like to paint, and I've always created my home to have like a cool vibe, or just I've always expressed myself through my interior, so it's just a perfect segue into interior design.
That makes sense. And is that your home where you're at right now with the background?
Yes, this is my office.
Love that.
My design studio.
I love it. Super cool. You can totally tell you're in the design space for sure. So I know that you just launched this business recently. Can you tell me about like the hardest part of that?
Well, I would say the hardest part for me was just balancing all of the different hats, and that's still hard to do. It doesn't stop once you launch. The business actually gets more intense. But balancing all of the different components that it takes to start a business, like web design, figuring out pricing and how you're going to market yourself, and how your process is going to work when you work with clients. It's a lot.
It is.
And then the whole other step side of just getting the licensing and making sure you have all of that stuff, all your ducks in a row over there with your trade people and stuff like that. But I think that aside, the hardest part, probably even more so, was feeling ready to launch. That's what I really struggled with. I had the failure to launch syndrome, where I just want everything to be so perfect and everything, and I mean, to a certain extent, you do need to have your systems in place and know what you're going to do when you launch. But that was the hardest part for me, was deciding, okay, now I'm ready to launch.
No, that makes sense. I can definitely relate to a lot of those things, especially like the website design part of things and things like that, and just wearing many hats. Like accounting would be another one for me that I don't think is really fun whatsoever. So I can definitely relate for sure. So tell me, what do you feel like your biggest fear is as a new business owner?
Failure. Period.
Okay. And then what does failure, I guess, look like to you?
Oh, just not being a successful, viable business where I have to check it out, say, well, lock the doors, we're closed.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear. My whole life, I've tried to figure out a way to use my talents and gifts to make a career out of it. So no matter what I'm doing career-wise, I've had several different businesses throughout my life, and it's all centered around being a creative person. It's like I can't not do it.
Oh, that makes
So,
sense.
you know, I'm just plugging along and wait until I get that perfect ingredients together to make a successful business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my next question for you is, what do you plan on doing, I guess, to land clients? What's your strategy for that?
Well, when I first started out, I thought I was going to post on social media and like Facebook and buy advertising and you know, do the best, wing it as far as like my SEO and stuff like that, and do some, you know, boots to ground promotion, going to real estate agencies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that quickly changed once I launched and I realized that it was just crickets.
Mhm.
Um, so my strategy now is just to really dive into what my brand is and what I have to offer as an individual artist designer, and also try to connect with my clients on a personal level,
Right.
and I guess the whole strategy of like law of attraction is kind of my strategy right now with social media, and working on my SEO with a professional that knows what they're doing,
Mhm.
networking, um, which is, it's a lot of work, and it's, you know, you might get a lot of, you know, yeah, you know, I'll see what I can do if I know somebody, but it's worth it because you create relationships
Yeah.
with people, and um, you do get some relationships where it does actually, you know, eventually benefit. It comes back. So, um, so yeah, networking, personalization of
Yeah.
my business, and social media, and trying to do it organically as possible because, you know, I'm a new business. I'm starting up.
Of
So
course. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I feel like I love doing in-person networking. Like for me, just having those face-to-face conversations, I think
yes.
it really helps connect me with the community
Mhm.
of others for sure. So,
Yeah.
um, what design tips, I guess, do you have for people who are working in an office to try to help them create a space that really sparks creativity?
Well, I think first off for me, I need my space to be organized, or it clogs up my creativity because I'm just too distracted by the clutter. And then I end up worrying about the clutter instead of acting on my ideas. So number one tip would be to um, organize, have very good organization, but make sure that your organization, your storage is cute and beautiful to look at.
Definitely.
Everything should have a place and a purpose. If it doesn't, it shouldn't be in your office. Um,
Good one.
Lots of different lighting sources, I think, is good, because you may have different moods or different projects or things you're working on. Lighting can affect your way you feel.
Hmm.
Um, and I think too, creating the space around what makes you energized, what motivates you, what makes you happy, what brings you joy. It's very important that you have that around you when you're focusing on your business.
I can see that. Definitely. Yeah. And I like that you mentioned lighting because I feel like that's not something people really think about, how it can really just affect your mood. So thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So why do you feel like people should hire a stager and an interior designer? What are the benefits of that?
Well, I think for interior design, I think it's a smart choice to hire a designer because what what starts off as like excitement when you're doing a remodel, like, oh, I get to pick out tile and furniture and finishes and stuff like that, is going to quickly turn to overwhelm and frustration because there's so many choices out there. like a sea of choices. And you will quickly find out that it's very hard to hone in on that unless you have the eye and the skill and the technical knowledge to break it all down and get it to a concise decision. And you're also investing a pretty good amount of money when you remodel.
That's true.
And you want to think about your investment lasting for decades, timeless, because you may decide you want to move, you might want to sell your home in the future. You want that investment and that remodel to add value,
right,
to your biggest asset, your home. So you don't want to put, eventually put your house on the market and the buyers are saying, well, yeah, but the kitchen, I have to redo that.
Right. No, that makes sense.
So in the long run, investing in a designer is going to save you money, frustration, and time.
Love it.
All, picking out all the, doing all, scouring through all of the things, all of the shops.
Oh yeah, it can be very overwhelming when you're doing it all on your own.
Right. Time is money.
Yep, exactly. Good point.
So, as far as home staging is concerned, the reason you should hire a stager is because who leaves money on the table?
Mm-hmm.
If you know that by spending $1.30, that I'm going to give you back $7.80, who would walk away from that? I mean, it's one of the only investments that you make when you're selling a home where you actually get an instant return on your investment.
Right.
It's proven statistics that you get about a 7% return on the overlist, price.
Oh, wow.
You also know that the statistics prove that people value the home more when it's staged. They don't nitpick.
Mm-hmm.
They're more likely to look past the little imperfections when the home is staged.
Exactly. They're distracted.
Yes. And they're like, well, I can deal with this because look at this.
Exactly.
I can, they can visualize themselves living in that home. And that's where you want that emotional connection. That's what stagers do. They emotionally connect buyers to your home.
I could see that.
And I mean, the market is not like it was 2 years ago. The prices are getting reduced. I see reductions, $10,000, $20,000 reductions. I mean, if they would invest $3,000 in professional staging, they wouldn't have got the price reduction, most likely, or at least not that much. I understand the market's competitive. It's kind of harder now to sell, but also another thing that staging does is it sells your home quicker.
Oh yeah.
Because it costs money to have your listing on MLS for months and months and months. Exactly. You got to pay for all the, the electric to be on,
Yeah, the mortgage for the space. So
yeah, all that. Right.
Mm-hmm. I could see it. I definitely see the benefits of staging a home because, like you said, like I think the visualization is the most important part for me. Like sometimes I can't just go into a blank room and just picture what it would look like, right? So when it's already staged and it gives me ideas for what I can do with it, I would be way more motivated to buy than just a blank canvas, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is true. Like a vacant home, it actually looks smaller.
Mm-hmm.
When you put furniture in it, ironically, it actually makes the space bigger because people can see, oh, I can fit a couch here and a console and, a little reading nook or, exactly. Like they're not thinking about that kind of stuff. They just see a blank room like, well, what do I do with that?
Exactly. Especially the non-creative people out there. So what do you feel like, I guess, separates you from your competition?
Well, I think my artistic fashion background definitely makes me a little different than the, average interior designer. Just my passion for art and design and just really wanting to push the limits, I guess, on what people think they can have in their homes. I think people think that, like, they'll look at magazines like Architectural Digest and Elle Decor and love it and admire it and think, man, I wish I could have my house like that. But they think that they don't have the money for it, or like you have to be like a movie star or Hollywood, or be very affluent or something to have that type of home.
Right.
And I think what I have to offer is I can bring that to people, and they don't need to ship in a designer from LA or New York. I'm right here in their backyard, and I can create that for them.
Which, can you mention, because I've just thought about it, I don't put that out on the show, but where are you located? Where can you travel to?
I'm located in Lakeland, Florida.
Okay, awesome. Beautiful.
I do remote design too, so I have cast a pretty wide net there for my design services, but mostly for staging, focus on Central Florida, West Central Florida.
Good to know. Perfect. And then, so how can people reach you if they want to learn a little bit more about you, about your business, and possibly use you in the potential in the future?
Okay. They can go to my website at masterfulinteriors.com. And there's lots of ways to reach me on my website. You can even book a discovery call. I do those complimentary to find out more about your project and what kind of service that might fit into, and if we make a good fit aesthetically, and before we actually start a project. So I offer that for free. You can book that on my website. You can also call me at 813-355-0120. And you can also email.
Perfect.
design@masterfulinteriors.com.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. To those who are watching. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. To everyone who's watching, I will include that information in the show notes, so you don't have to write that down. You can just easily refer to the notes after this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you really like this show, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, Like Being Social, and follow me on social media at Like It Marketing LLC. Thank you again, Teressa. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.